Alright, this is Way to Fail, and we are going to try the moon landing again. This is a bonus look at Steam Roulette here, where there's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom of the screen, and I'm sure those of you who may be familiar with Kerbal Space Program knew it was coming, because apparently I put a SAS module instead of a decoupler or something, but for whatever reason I didn't have this little decouple icon here between 2 and 3, so if you're more experienced with the game, you probably knew everything was going, just chuckling to see when I'd find out. So we're going to do this launch again, and this is probably better just to keep this independent episode here. So we are going to go to the launching station, have some poor soul who is floating around in space, maybe? Yep, the little Lunar Hope debris. He is stuck in orbit, and I don't know if he's ever going to escape that orbit. I may have to do a rescue mission for him, essentially. But somehow, Jailbro Kerbin is back. Maybe I could have evac'd him and had him burn into the atmosphere. I don't know. I'm not that cruel, I'd like to think. But so we spent a lot of fuel going up last time. But maybe I won't screw up my burn this time. I didn't do so bad last time, but up, up, and away. Just all the way up. And let's go ahead and get this nav ball ready. And let's zoom down here, because right now we're shooting straight into the air. It's going to start slow, because I don't have the biggest engines in the world on here. And this is a lot of fuel I'm pushing, but as I get higher in the atmosphere, that push will get easier. As I burn more fuel, there's less weight to push. So those factors are nice. So I'm just going to go up, same thing as last time, 10,000 meters, then do our orbit turn, then burn as much fuel as I can spare just to get up there. So we're already through our first set of fuel tanks as the sun's setting at the spaceport, which we can kind of see it below, and the stars up above. Kerbin is apparently a planet, or Kerbal's apparently a planet without much light pollution. So just continue to go up, and we're going to start throttling down again, because we don't need to be going super fast, not much above 150, 160. Once we hit 10,000 meters, we're going to do our turn, and we're going to fly this. Alright, so 10,000 meters, turn off the SAS, and rotate. It's still a very heavy ship, so it's going to be a little bit of something to make it work. And we're already getting some tilt here. But that's okay, I just want to keep it as close to 90 as I can. And what keeping it at 90 degrees will do is keep your orbit in line with the moon, which not every planet in this game, much like real life, has an exact orbit of our home world. But let's go ahead and push those engines back up now that we're in the direction we want to go. And there's our second engine's firing, and our apoapsis is going to go up. Once again, I want it to go to around 100, and we're just going to try and stay on course. As you can see, we're going up, but right now we haven't escaped the full of the Kerbin atmosphere. But we're getting there. That's why I want to go 45 degrees. And our number is really going to start pushing up once we get to the next phase of the atmosphere. So right now, 40, 50. I don't know why we have an abort button there, but apparently we do. We're already almost out of fuel again. 80, 90, cut. Okay, so we are less fuel efficient with that than we were last time, probably because I kept it tilted so high up. But we are nearly, but not quite in space, so we can't do the full acceleration, but we do have some time between the peak of our orbits, and I'm going to give myself a little bit more leeway here, because I'm probably going to have to cut engines to do this, and I don't really need Okay, 250. That is a terrible orbit. See if I can just adjust that just a little, not that way. So we're just going to adjust this like so. Now the music's changed and we're in space. 100 and 200, not great, but you know what? Screw it. We're going to the moon. So, like I said, I'm no pro at this game at all. But at least, hopefully, this time I'm not going to be ditching all of my engines. So there's our ship, twinkling with the Milky Way galaxy, or whatever the Kerbal equivalent of that is called. There's the sun setting over the horizon, and we're on the dark side of the planet now. And all we're going to do is to stick around this node, hopefully, if my adjustment will work. Just got to remember how to, apparently I've forgotten how to use this nav ball a little bit. Yeah, we got another burn in about 20 seconds. Because you want to do the burn, start it a little bit before, go slightly after. So let's see, we want to do this about 13 or 14 seconds. We're just going to do a full burn. If I can just keep my freaking boat on this point. So about 14 seconds, full burn. And I'm going to be losing these engines in just a moment. And that's okay, because that's what we want to do. So what do we do to our orbit? We made it a little bit bigger. You can see now that I have a lot more control. And all we're going to do now is just a prograde burn here. That's it. And these engines are weaker, so you see our little bar here, 400, 300. It's going down, our orbit's going up slower, but these are the rockets that are going to get us to the moon and back, so they don't have to be the greatest ever. They just got to get us out into space. And now that we're in space, their slightly lower power is totally fine. Of course, my orientation isn't great, but now that I don't have giant honking engines on me, we're going to be in an orbit here pretty soon. I got just a little bit of burn time to go. There we go. And let's cut it. There we go. 140 and 100. That'll do. So now, we're back on our regularly scheduled program, 8 minutes into the video, around about. And our goal, once again, is to go to the moon, and this time land on it. We're already a step ahead because we're in orbit and we're not about to ditch everything. So let's find the moon again. We're going to set it as a target again. We're going to zoom out again. And all we're going to do is to add a prograde burn. And this time, because we won't be switching engines, we should be able to do this all in one go. So let's back it up just a little bit, because I think we're actually going to hit it in a moment. Let's see here. Target closest approach, so we are a little ways off. Oh, not that far off. So I want to have my periapsis for the moon close. How close are we talking about here? Now we could do an impact course into the moon, or we can have a 7,000 orbit. It's a little lower than I'd like. 100,000 is not terrible. So we got 24 minutes for a minute and a half burn because this is weaker engines. So we're just going to fast forward time, which we can do now that we're at the proper height to do so. And we're just going to, well, what I should do first is as we get a little closer to the requisite time, we're going to actually put our nav ball where it needs to go. So just a little bit faster. There's the sun. Hello, sun. Let me go ahead and find where we're supposed to go. So here's the planet Kerbin. Let's turn off our SAS. And what we're doing with this reticule is we're making a prograde burn. We're burning forward towards the direction we want to go, but unfortunately, since that isn't really where we're at right now, I gotta wait another 12 minutes around orbit. And yeah, I know it takes things far longer than 12 minutes to orbit Earth in real life. I think Kerbin, or the planet, is substantially smaller than Earth, maybe like a tenth of the size. I don't know for sure. But 10, 9, 8. If I miss this mark, I can always just go around one more time, but then I'll have to change my moon trajectory. So 3, 2, we'll want to do this burn in about 45 seconds, because it's going to be maximum power. And you want to do it, split it before and after the time point. So let's see here, 51. We're going to do it at 47 seconds. So burn away! And I'm going to keep it on here for a little bit, because we are going to see the moon on the horizon in just a moment, because it should be coming up any moment now. Any moment. We are flying away from the Earth into the moon. So where's our moonrise? Do-do-do-do-do-do. So yeah, we are burning a bit of fuel to get out of here, but at least we're getting out of Earth, so I guess you could call it gravitational pull eventually. I could have used a stronger engine for this, I'm sure, but so far our nav is going okay. Said we will be able to see the moon come up over the horizon in just a little bit. Any moment. We're just going to try and keep our ball on the reticule here. And I really want to be able to fine-tune this. And there we go. And there's the moon popping right over at just the same time when our burn ended, and we will be reaching the moon. That was a pretty close target. We actually did a little better there. So let's take off this. We'll be reaching the moon approximately 100,000 meters. And there it is. It looks so far away, and our planet's so close. So let's zoom in time again. We're going 3,000 meters per second. As you notice, we're decelerating because we're still being pulled by Earth. You're going to see our speed goes from 3,000 meters per second to much lower. So here we are. We're flying towards the moon. There's home backing away in the sunset. Alright. So we're still recording. I didn't screw anything up. I gotta really watch my clicks here, because I don't want a repeat of last time since I'm recording in a window. I actually had another Let's Play that I screwed up the video by clicking off and accidentally changing the window size, but I think we're okay here. So how far away from the moon? We're warping at times going a lot faster. And this game gives you a pretty good sense of scale of the solar system, because we're far away from the planet. But this is still the closest celestial object. And we've been flying a long time. So there's the eclipsed Earth with its little halo of the sun. We're about 3 million kilometers, almost 4 million kilometers away. Let's go to warp time 100. Let's actually do it at 500, just to speed things along. As you can see, everything orbiting around, including our poor ditched capsule. So, and our moon encounter is about 30 minutes, 29 minutes. What we're going to see here, it's now a lot closer. And what we're doing is we're intercepting a flying body as another flying body. So think it's kind of like shooting a bullet and hitting something millions of miles away. So there's the sun and the Earth. And what we're going to see here momentarily is a switch just on time. Because now we are projected, our point of reference is the moon. And you can see here, let's focus back on Hope 2. We have a lot of funky lines here, but our key point is that we're going for the periapsis right now. It's the highest point of our orbit, and we're eventually going to get to the moon, and all you want to do here is to burn backwards. Slow down until you can wrap that orbit around the moon here. It's actually going to be cutting it really close. So I'm actually going to adjust this just a little bit, not that way, because I don't want to crash into the dark side of the moon. So let's see, if we keep it about 80,300, I can do this a little better. Let's see, 50,000 and 200,000. Just adjust this one more time. So 120 and 200. That's not awful. You can probably orbit a little closer to the moon here. So 90 and 180. There we go, 75 and 73. So we'll get about 100 orbit here. Yeah, it's not terrible. So that's it. With the maneuver system in this game, you can actually do some piloting without really knowing all the physics or having to do all the calculations. And I know plenty of people love theory crafting, love doing all of the calculations, having everything together. I'm not a huge numbers guy, so the extent of number knowledge that I do is what I have to do for work, which is not a ton. I mean, well, I do a ton of work, but what we're going to do is just speed up time a little more, try and get closer to our burn point, which is an hour away. And notice we're not going 3,000 meters per second anymore. But we are starting to accelerate slightly because we're being influenced by the gravitational pull of the moon. And just to show you, if we don't do anything, eventually we will escape Kerbin's trajectory, or Kerbin, and we'll go into an orbit around the sun. So if we miss this, we're screwed, unlike last time where we'd still be in orbit around there. There's no hope for Gilbro, I think is his name, if we don't get this right this time. So we're going to get it right the first time. We have plenty of fuel to do it. So we're just going to zoom this in so the moon can get a little closer as we fall. We're going to start a burn about a minute out, because we actually got to do some pretty harsh corrective burning here. We've used some of our fuel, maybe more fuel than I'd like. Whoa, we're going a little fast there, but that's okay. Zoom it in just a little bit, and we're going to have a retrograde burn here in just a moment. Well, not just a retrograde burn, we're actually adjusting it so we don't go crashing into the dark side of the moon. So at about minute 10, as we get the autosave there, we're going to just go into orbit. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, let's start burn. Alright. So see, we're slowing down, and our curve is going around. We've got a few more seconds of burn to go. So there's the moon. We like it because it's close to us. Some of you know what I'm talking about, some of you are actually too young for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll stop this burn. Let's stop it now, because our node's moving quite a bit and I somehow zoomed out. Okay, so we have a decent enough orbit. It's not as close as I'd like, but it is in line with the moon's thing, unlike my first probe, which was kind of off-kilter. So, hey, I've made some progress in learning this game. Alright, our next goal here, since we have, what's our fuel situation like? Not great, not awful. We actually don't need a ton of fuel for our next maneuver. We just need enough to get back to Kerbin. Or Kerbal. Let me look at the planet and get it right. No, Kerbin. Alright, so there's Moonlander 2 Hope, because why have just one Hope? Now, at the bottom point of our orbit, it's probably going to be, which is the apoapsis, is the top, periapsis is the bottom. And all we're going to do here is put a nice retro burn. And my goal is actually to kind of crash into the planet. Problem is that I don't really want to crash into it on the dark side, because it's not a lot to see. I mean, I can do it. I don't want to say I have done it. I've crashed into the planet. But we want to do this on the light side, just so we can see what we're doing. I'd love to hit that crater. I don't think my trajectory is quite right for that, so we're just going to go right here and hope we don't hit a giant mountain or anything. So in about 44 minutes, we're going to do a 9-second burn that will send us on a collision course into the planet, which the angle isn't fantastic, but there's no atmosphere to worry about, so it's not like I'm going to burn up, because this is the 0.19, the 0.19 update, so there is, in fact, re-entry heat. And that's something we'll have to take into account when we go back to Kerbin. But for now, we're just going to spin around. And let's do this. So this is something I've never succeeded at doing before. So no time like the present to start. We're going to just be taking our way slowly around the moon. Our mission's been going for quite some time. And all I need to do is a 9-second burn, so I'm going to start at about 5 seconds. We're just going to do some retro burning to see if we can slow ourselves down. Because what we're going to do is fall butt first. It's actually a little more difficult to land on the moon than other places because you have no atmosphere, so you can't use a parachute. So let's see, let's get it under a minute. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, missed my time. That's okay. Full burn now. We'll do just as well. All we're doing is adjusting our orbit. Those navigation things are there just for navigation. So what are we doing? We're landing sort of on the lunar sunrise, I hope. We're kind of in the mid-morning area of the moon. So we'll see. We'll see what this does. Let's go ahead and take that nav marker down because we don't really need too much of it anymore. We're just going to be landing bloop, right there maybe. So first thing we're going to do is to go ahead and get out our landing gears. Oh my gosh, those actually extend beyond where my engine is. I might actually be able to do it this time. The only other time I've made it onto the surface, I immediately crashed and evacuated my Kerbal just in time. So he's stranded on the moon. You don't see this one because it was on my listed here because it's on my other computer. And I don't believe Kerbal Space Program supports cloud saving, at least not between Mac and PC. Although it is a game that does play for Mac, PC, or Linux. So that's all pretty awesome. So all we're going to be doing from here, I'm not going to be using the nav points anymore. I am just going to be doing a retrograde burn, trying to burn butt first to slow down and see if we can plop into this planet. And see, we are going to be going into the light side of it. So there's the Earthrise. And so we're going faster. How far are we now? Not too far. At about, probably, I don't want to be going this fast. So probably at about 50,000 meters, I'm going to start my retro burn. If I turn off my SAS first, because I don't really need that right now. Because all we want to do is to slow down and touch down at less than like 6 meters per second. And this is where having a weak engine is good, because you can turn it on just a little bit and really fine-tune your controls. So let's see, we're just going to do this first. And I kind of want to speed up time just a touch. Because remember, we are falling towards a planet, or a celestial body. Gilbro's looking around like, you've done this before, right, person who's controlling the ship? Yeah, I've done this. Let's not talk about what happened to your Jebediah, who was there before you in some alternate reality. So 50,000 meters, and we're just going to slow it down. And this is going to take some time, but that's okay. So 50,000 meters, and the reason we're doing this instead of using the parachute here is that we have no atmosphere to deal with. So you have no choice. So all we're going to do is try and take this down below 200 meters per second. Or maybe I could probably get away with doing this a little later, but I'm going to be on standby here. So 40,000, let's try this actually at about 20,000 meters. Because I don't have a ton of fuel to spare. And what's the worst that happens? I crash, and I get to do it again. But I mean, I am recording, so 30,000. Because we don't want to use all of our fuel just having to reaccelerate. So let's do a nice soft burn. We got a lot of surface to land on here. And our goal is going to be to have our butt up. So let's see, we're slowing down. I just got to keep the nav ball on the tail. So let's get that retro burn going a little more. I want to get it under 200 meters per second. So we're 480, 470, 460. So this is a good time slowing down. See, I'm playing this a little conservatively. I don't need a ton of fuel to get back, but I'm going to need some to get back for sure. So see, as we're getting closer to the planet, I'm going to need to up my thrusters just a little bit. Because our goal is to be going butt down. Yeah, we gotta burn that a lot harder, because now that we're closer, gravity's really coming into play. Alright, so we're going to get under 200 meters per second here. Let's try and go for a good 150. Okay, so we're at the surface almost. So we're at 160 and we are in free fall. Used a little more fuel than I'd like, but that's what happens when you start from a higher orbit instead of a lower orbit. Ideally, I would have liked to have been orbiting about 15 or 20 instead of 100,000, but now I know. I didn't really know that before. So here is the moon. See, we're speeding up again. You got to make sure that you get just right on the speed here. So we're at 200 meters per second. Just free falling. Let's burn again. Because we're just going to make this a nice, controlled drop. Let's go ahead and lower our speed even more. Because gravity's going to do the work for us. We just start fighting against it. And there's no atmosphere to slow us down. So we're at 5,000 and dropping. So I have to really watch it here. 4,000. Let's go ahead and slow this sucker down. 4,000, 80, 70. So I don't want to be going up again. 30, 20. That's good. So 16 meters per second. This will give us plenty of time to get our last landing burn in. At about 3,000 meters. Like I said, I've never done this before, so those of you who are pros, feel free to leave comments on what I can do to improve. So, dropping a little faster than I'd like. Let's see, now that we've burned backwards so much, our tail's going to be going up. And there we go, we are dropping at a very good, easily controllable pace. So all we gotta do here is just keep our speed down. See, 2,000 meters, 1,000 meters. Oh, we fell. Oh, I hit it too fast. But I didn't explode. I landed on the moon. Oh, I hit it just a little too hard because I was not expecting the ground to be coming that fast, but you know what? My ship didn't explode. So let's wander around for a minute. So that's a little disappointing that I didn't make it that far, but hey, look. Maybe, since there's not a lot of gravity, you can go fly around a little bit. Yay! Hey, buddy, you're going to roll up and down here. So there's the Earth. We don't really have many landmarks around here, but we did make it to the moon. And we get some ground glitching, but that's okay. So, hey, buddy, you're still alive. We have a live moon landing. Your sacrifice will be noted. And what is your face looking like here? Oh, I'm so happy! I only kind of knocked over my ship. So, yay. I'm going to roll back to the ship real quick. Oh, ragdoll physics at work. Okay, so we overshot it by a lot. So I guess we're just going to be running back to the ship now. Alright. May have to cut a little bit of this out. Because we're going to attempt to see if we can get this back up right. If we can, we can. If we can't, we can't. We're back on board, and I don't know if we can do much of anything. We are going to attempt to rocket out of here. I don't know if that's going to do a lot of good. Let's go ahead and see if we can prop ourselves up with our landing gears. Maybe. We're going to be doing kind of a flat tail ad hoc takeoff here. Is this going to be stupid? Maybe. Let's see if I can actually use the landing gears to get myself back up. Nope. Alright, so that is the sticky wicket we are in right now. Never used that phrase before. Probably never going to use it again. But is our ship damaged? Not really. I guess that's damage. I'm not sure. So all we're going to do is try to get out of here and either I'm going to explode in fiery death, or we're going to make it. So, this is the exciting conclusion of Moon Landing from Steam Roulette for Kerbal Space Program. One last look at the Earth, and let's see what happens when I start this rocket. Alright, and... Oh, no! Hatch is obstructed, can't exit. Oh, no. So I killed a Kerbin. Crap. Alright, well, that's that mission. Next time, don't land so hard. But I hope you all enjoyed watching. That's Kerbal Space Program, a longer look at an actual attempted moon landing. You got any advice for me? I am all ears, and like I said, I'll put a link in this video and the last video to the guy whose videos really helped me out, though I still need some practice. But that's part of the fun, part of the challenge. But I'll see you all next time.